this strike, this is not the first time we're going on strike. It has always been strike. But we are asking as Nigerians, yes, we understand what NLC may be asking for. How realistic are like the 200% increase for salary, the release of the ASU salary, 8 months old salary by the federal government over no work, no pay policy? The Nigerians do not know. But the fact is that the strike is beginning to affect not just the Nigerian workers now. There are other aspects, because NLC is supposed to be fighting for Nigerian workers, but there are other aspects of the same Nigerian workers that are not being considered. Why do you think that we have continued on this path, even when it's looking like we don't know what we have achieved so far from it?
See, strike, I think NLC, they are interest group and they are fighting for their own interest. In Nigeria, we like dwelling on obsolete things. I think for them, one of the ways for them to achieve their aims is to go on strike. And maybe that is why they are achieving their aims. That's all I have to say.
Ugochukwu, what do you think, why do you think rather NLC have insisted on, we shut down the nation even when there are people affected? It doesn't matter what's important, we'll go on this strike. They went for the first warning strike, and then they went into a meeting with the president. They came out, and after that, it looks like, okay, things were going to happen. And suddenly, even with the tribunal, judgments later for the NLC said they are still going to go on strike. Put that side by side with the warnings by the DSS, the police. How much sense does this make, considering where we are?
Vivien, it was on this station, I think, a couple of weeks ago, that I stated that I wasn't sure of the sincerity of NLC when they were saying they wanted to embark on that strike. I wasn't sure of their sincerity. And then, in making my assertions through, I think that day was the day they began the strike. And in making my assertions through, the evening of that day, they heard that they were calling it off, Most times, these persons are just on a chase of their personal interest and relevance. And the end point will be to be brought to the table. They just need a seat at the table, You did a strike. You didn't even last for how many days. You went to a meeting with the president and said, all things is well, blah, blah. You called it off. And then you're coming for a 2-day strike. In fact, I think that the NLC should, workers should start questioning the NLC and their leadership, because you cannot toy with people's emotion, toy with people's commitment. When you call on strike, most persons will decide to obey, committing their emotion, feeling that they are, carrying out this civil disobedience and all in a way of, for a greater good. And then all together you come, hold a meeting, and then you go back and choose to call them at your own will. These people should be, if you're there, okay, the two days one is right, what are we looking at? You come up with some demands that cannot be met. Are you sure their intention is for the demands to be met? Because if some of these demands are met, there will be nothing to strike about. Probably their intentions might be for their demands to not be met, so that they can always have this reason to strike. Because we only get to hear about the NLC president when it's time for strike. Beyond strike, acting as a pressure group, giving their 2 cents, in the discourse of the polity, they rarely do that. But now they would say remove subsidy. How can people be talking about removal of subsidy? When Nigerians have bought fuel for 500, for 600, for almost 100 days now, we've been buying at that, and then you're saying removal of subsidy for we to remove, for we to reinstate subsidy and then go to remove again. It's a bridge that enough water have gone under. We should be talking about practical solutions and practical demand, not to enjoy the fun fare of I will protest, I will protest. No.
And if you look at